Welcome to Walking with J.Beau. We have a somewhat beautiful day in Maine. Not as warm as it was yesterday, but it's definitely in the 50s. Got some sunshine once in a while. We had a whole ton of rain yesterday, but I managed to get a walk in last night for 5 miles. We're going to do about 5.5 today. Now, if you caught the video from the other day, we had found some used syringes on the side of the road, and today we're going to pick them up. I brought an empty container, and we're going to put them in a plastic container and take care of any new ones we find. Which I fully understand. I do not recommend everybody do. It is a biohazard. But I can't leave them there for somebody to stumble on and hurt themselves with. Especially kids. So we will take care of it. Well, we're gonna turn this around. Hi everybody. So J.Beau here, obviously. Hope you're having a good day today. And I'm going for our walk. This thing hopping around on here. There we go. Well, sort of. I'm adjusting my stuff. So anyway, like I said, we're going to pick up those dirty syringes, put them in a container. Pretty terrible that you get to find that just sitting there on the side of the road like that, because when you really start thinking about it, it's like, you know, I said in the last video when we picked those up, you know, somebody's life is behind that needle. You start thinking about classic songs like The Needle and The Damage Done, things like that. There's been a lot of songs in rock and roll written about heroin addiction and needles. You'd think at some point it would just kind of like fade away In the 70s it was very, very popular, and it's very popular again. Don't know why that happens. But again, here we are, and we have a new mix into it, which is fentanyl. Unfortunately. So c'est la vie. So I hope everybody's having a good week. Things are kind of looking up. Hi. Things are happy, things are good. Always nice to get a nod from people when you're wearing a MAGA hat, like I just got. So I'm getting my MAHA walk in today. Make America Healthy Again. Very important day. Did not get as much sleep last night as I would have liked. A little over 5 hours. President Trump probably operates on 4. Don't know how he does it. Really don't. Windy today. Didn't expect it to be this windy, but it is. So when the wind blows like this, it's a little chilly. I'm not exactly dressed for cold weather. It is in the 50s though, but it feels colder than that when the wind blows. So I hope that stops. But I'll have my blood flowing pretty good over the next half mile, especially with the hill we're coming up on. And last night's walk was in a different part of town because it was dark, for one thing. This route that I'm walking, there's no sidewalks and there's no street lights. So at night, it's like night. It's either moonlight, a flashlight, or no light. So got done watching a press conference just a few minutes ago of Attorney General Pam Bondi. She is officially filing motion against the state of Maine for violating women's rights under Title IX constitutional right that is guaranteed to women. State of Maine Attorney General defiantly and arrogantly basically says, go pound sand. So she's going to pound a lawsuit right up Janet Mills Keister. All they had to do was comply, and they just wouldn't do it. So now they're going to be forced to comply, and the state of Maine here is going to lose a lot of money. because the Trump administration is going to defund other things that they have the authority to defund. Because when you pick a fight with Donald Trump, you're going to lose. So I fully support whatever Trump decides to do. Democrats are going to turn around and blame Trump for it. But people are going to know what really caused it because it's obvious. The majority of the population in Maine does not support trans women in women's sports. That's just a fact. It's not supported anywhere. So we're just going to have to deal with it. And damn the Democrats for doing this. Guys like this over here. The guy that lives there is a state representative. It's my state representative. And he's weak, feckless. He doesn't have a spine. He does what the party tells him. And towards the end, when he thought he was retiring, he didn't do what the party wanted. But they realized that they were going to lose this seat to a Republican, so they asked him to run again. And they forgave him for speaking out against the Democrats. And he's going to vote along party lines. Because he's a weak man. His name is Michael LaJoy. Very weak person. I've spoken to him on the phone quite a few times over gun rights, and he did vote not to support the transgender women in women's sports. Not the sports, but he probably supports that. But he didn't vote to support Maine being a sanctuary state for minors to come here and hide from states that they reside in where it is illegal to transition minors. And the state of Maine is even going to pay for it. So currently, Maine has a budget shortfall for Medicaid, Medicare. Medicaid. It's the Maine Care is what it's called. It's funded by Maine. There's no more money. Schools have had to stop dental programs for kids, and people are upset about it. Well, people online are trying to blame Doge and Trump Medicare cuts. Trump hasn't cut Medicare, neither has Doge. This is a state of Maine problem. This is a Democrat spending problem. And they're trying to pass the buck and blame Trump. The local media has not blamed Trump because Trump didn't do this. I'm saying what they're talking about on social media. So, ooh, we got half of the steep hill out of the way. So anyway, they're gonna have to work this out. State of Maine ballooned the budget from $8.6 billion annually to $11.2 billion. They almost doubled it on paying for immigrants and paying for health care. They have raised taxes. Income tax, 1%. They've raised the price of cigarettes, about $1 a pack. They have raised the price of alcohol tax. Pretty sure gasoline tax is coming next. And they're doing exactly what California did to ruin itself. Which, by the way, California decided to cover immigrants, illegal immigrants, with Medicaid, Medicare, and now they have a budget shortfall of almost $3 billion. Some say 3.4, some say 2.8. They're already $500 billion in debt. I have no idea how that's even possible, but California managed it. You'd think with all that money being spent, there'd be nobody homeless, right? In California? Well, guess what? So, they're going to have to take out loans for $2.8 billion that taxpayers will have to pay back in California. And I can see Maine doing the same thing because that's where they're headed. So, dumb Democrats. Tax and spend. Tax and spend, tax, 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 and spend some more. I'm going to turn the camera around. We're coming up on the syringes from yesterday, which should still be there, unless somebody else picked them up. All right, where are they? I know they're around here someplace. Keeping an eye out. I think I see one. Yep. We had a lot of rain yesterday, so I don't know if the rain washed any away. But here's one. That's one I did yesterday. So, another one up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this container. I'm going to drop that in there. Yep. Now it's not going to bother anybody. So we get another one here. Put them in a container. I'm going to do this for the entire walk. I'm going to try to keep an eye out across the road also, because the other ones were on the other side of the street up ahead, a couple miles. So obviously they're doing it to and from. Like right here is an end cap. Now somebody online made a good point to me that usually I would think of something like that because I'm pretty sharp. While I'm being careful of bending the needle to make it safe, just a little bit of fentanyl on those can actually cause an OD. We've seen that before with police searching through somebody they pulled over and they had traces of fentanyl in the trunk. And the officer touched them and he immediately overdosed because it's so potent and powerful. Just on contact will go through your skin. He wasn't wearing gloves. So I'm handling these syringes without gloves. Because one, I don't have any rubber gloves. I looked, I thought I did. And I certainly don't want to throw my gloves away. And we have had a lot of rain recently. So I'm not going to worry about it, but I should be more careful. It had only been less than a week since I walked this route, and we saw 7 syringes. So my mission is to pick those up today. So like I say, I'm going to keep an eye out, try to look on both sides of the street while I'm walking. I'm not going to zero in and overly focus that. Because I also have to watch traffic. But we can't leave these laying around, and there'll obviously be more until the person doing it, or people, overdose on it and are unable to throw them out any longer. Or maybe they decide maybe they shouldn't do that and dispose of them properly, like burning them up, which is what I'm going to do with these. So this stuff is annoying to take care of, for sure. Well, somebody has to do it. For one thing, I can't stand looking at them. It's a reminder of how crappy things have gotten for folk. We just can't be having it, man. That's the other thing you see on the side of the road a lot is vapes. They either stopped working or whatever. So people just chuck them out the window. So hopefully we don't find any new ones today. But usually that's a daily habit for people. And you know, this is another reason why I don't like the free needles program, which a lot of blue states run and some red ones do as well. You want to cut down on disease being spread among people, I get that. One guy that's got hepatitis or HIV is going to share a needle with somebody else because the other person, they want their fix and they are willing to use a dirty needle to do it because the addiction is so powerful. And that's how a lot of the HIV spreads. So I understand the logic, but the thing is, there's more syringes to be thrown out on the side of the road, it looks like, and that's not good either. So I seem to recall seeing a syringe or a piece of one here somewhere right along here. I think it was just an end cap. Yeah, right here. See that orange end cap? That's the top end of a syringe. So somebody threw a syringe out here. It's not here anymore. So that might have, oh, there it is right here. No longer has the needle in it, but we'll pick it up anyway. So that's the third syringe we find that drug addicts have thrown out of their car in a nice neighborhood like this in Maine, where you would never have imagined seeing that here when I was younger, and we would not have seen that here. There's another vape. So it's pretty much syringes and vapes, Dunkin' Donuts coffee containers. Pretty sad thing to watch, man, it really is, because most of the people doing this heroin and these drugs are young, and it's unfortunate that they turn to that to get some kicks, because it's going to kill them. We've had thousands of people in their 20s nationwide. We have lost a heroin addiction because of fentanyl. You know, they get that hot dose, and that's all it takes, just once. It can happen the first time you do it, or it can happen the 1000th time you do it. So I'm going to be a good Samaritan, and I'm going to pick up these syringes. We'll let the city workers clean up the trash. I don't want anybody to get hurt. So I'm going to do my good deed. And again, I don't see any across the street. They have orange caps, so they're pretty easy to spot when you see them. So far so good, except for the 3 that we found. A little chipmunk, he scurried off. So anyway, thank you for walking with me today. Hope you're enjoying it. There's another orange syringe cap we just passed. So, along here somewhere. Oh, what a life, huh? Got a beautiful flag. It looks like it's lit up at night. Has a rechargeable flashlight attached to a solar panel, which is nice. We're in Trump country. Windy Trump country today. Ooh, that's a pretty stiff breeze right there. I'm gonna put my head down so my MAHA hat doesn't fly off. So it's cool today and it'll be a little cool tomorrow, but Saturday is going to be in the low 70s. I'm not sure I'm ready for that, but it's going to be humid. So that's why it'll be warmer. Get some of the southern air from you guys down south for a day or two. And Sunday is going to be sunny, but in the low 50s. So 71 Saturday, 52 Sunday. 71 and cloudy Saturday, 52 and sunny Sunday. So welcome to Maine. Hopefully we'll get a window to shoot in Saturday. It's supposed to rain in the morning. We may end up going in the afternoon. So I hope you're having fun with me. I hope you enjoy this. And again, I'm not advocating for you to put yourself at risk to handle dirty needles. Definitely don't do that. But I'm fairly certain these are safe to pick up since it rained all day yesterday. And we've already seen these out here. So, may as well pick them up. And if I see any new ones, I'm going to be disappointed because this may turn into a regular thing on this walk. If that's what I got to do, I'll do it. Whew. Juices are flowing. Hopefully I don't gross anybody out. Get my walk in today. Hose myself off in the shower. So there's other bottles on the route I could use in the future. So I'm gonna bring one of these too, just to keep it for future use. Play that by ear. There's enough bottles thrown on the side of the road where I could actually have a bottle to use if I need to. Probably plenty in proximity to where I found the needles. Probably didn't need to bring one today. People chuck these out of their window when they drive by. You hear a whole bunch of frogs. You hear that? The other thing you see on the side of the road quite often, I've already passed a whole bunch of them, probably the same people throwing the syringes out, is marijuana tubes, prescription and non-prescription. It's legal in Maine to smoke recreationally. can't grow it yourself. But there's plenty of weed dispensaries. So I see a lot of those on the side of the road as well. As you can see, people like to drive fast through here. And they drive over the yellow line to stay away from me, which is nice. If there's one heading for me, it'll probably be because of my attire that I'm wearing, which you saw. So sometimes the downside of wearing a Trump hat, a MAGA hat, is sometimes you have obscenities yelled at you. Most of the time you don't. I've been called a effing racist by women in their 20s. White women, white virtue signaling liberal women are the worst. They're the meanest. They're the most vindictive. So that's okay with me. It's a free country. You call people whatever you like. The fact that you get upset and yell something at me means I'm wearing the correct hat, because I don't like what you guys are doing. So now we're going to cross the street and we are going to pick up the syringes that we saw the day before yesterday. I'm assuming they'll still be there. So these are some black mild cigars, cigarillos. A lot of people like to take the tobacco out, and they make what you call blunts. And you fill the paper with weed, marijuana, pot. So over here is where we saw syringes the day before yesterday, which I capped. I'm assuming they'll still be here. They are. I don't see any new ones. Here they are. Right here. So I'm going to pick these up. Carefully handle these. Put them in the container. Right here. Yeah. And there should be another one up ahead. So we have secured 6 syringes today. So we have that other one up this way. Where was it? Where was it? Over here. There it is. There's this one here that we had secured. Unscrew the cap. I'm going to take the syringe right here. And we're going to stick it in the bottle. Cap back on. Hopefully we're not going to find any more. So that is the 7 I saw the day before yesterday. I didn't want to leave them out here. So normally I walk on the other side. That one was on this side. So I don't think I'm going to see any more, to be honest with you, but you never know. And like I said, these just started showing up, so that's new. And I think it's mainly that stretch that goes this way, but there was one over here which comes this way, so would stand the reason that we're probably going to run into perhaps another one or 2 that I did not see 2 days ago. So if I do, I'll stop and very carefully take care of it. We walked on the other side of the street 2 days ago and I didn't see any for the whole entire way. So I'm probably not going to see any. So, however, we will observe. So it's really a terrible thing. You know, it bothers me a lot, actually. So we're going to switch the camera back around. So the other news I wanted to talk about is the Democrats are talking about impeachment of Trump already. If they get the House next year. And I hope they talk about that a lot, because they're misreading the public like they always do, because they're in a bubble in DC. And we had a plane full of Democrat senators headed to El Salvador today because they have the burr up their ass about President Trump, and they think they're going to sway the president of El Salvador to turn over the illegal that was deported, a known MS-13 member, which the Democrats and the media, there's no proof of that, just somebody say so. Yeah, well, he's a criminal. Yes, he has a wife, and yes, he has a child in the United States that are U.S. citizens. They were free to go with him if they wanted to. Point being, he's a criminal. convicted in the past as well. So really don't know what they're trying to accomplish. They think this is politically advantageous. They know the president of El Salvador is not going to turn him over, and this is just a political stunt, which the Democrats excel at. They love their political stunts. So we'll see what comes of it, which I'm expecting to be nothing except CNN coverage. They're covering this a lot. They think, anytime they think they have something against the Trump administration for empathy, you know, it hasn't worked so far. It's not going to work. The American public they want the immigration problem fixed. They want illegals deported. I'm going to go back across the street because I'm running out of safe side to walk on, and I can see anything orange tipped while I'm walking. I don't want cars at my back. I just don't. Rather see what's coming towards me or toward me. Correct English. So anyway, they're trying to do what they always do for social causes that the Democrats try to wedge division between Republicans and Democrats with, trying to get some independents to join the Democrats, because you can't win without those, and right now the Democrats don't have those. So that's why they haven't been winning. Yeah, everybody's going to talk about Wisconsin Supreme Court. Elon Musk spent millions of dollars, and the Democrat also had millions of dollars in a state that usually votes Democrat. Not a big surprise. So the other thing I have noticed is Elon Musk has been a lot more quiet. And that's because I think President Trump had a talk with him, said, yeah, it's great that you're doing all this stuff, but you're drawing too much in favor of the Democrats. So do your Doge thing, finish up your duty, and he's going to remain with the White House as an advisor. The media tried to make it look like Elon was really the president and not Trump. That was stupid. Can't even believe the media was that dumb. They embarrass themselves like that constantly. Caitlin Collins tried once again. You know, she's at the press conferences trying to steal the thunder of the Trump administration with propaganda. And she's not getting away with it, and I love it. CNN is pro everything the Democrats are, and the Democrats are pro everything against what's popular with the public. It's really mind-boggling at this point. Trans women and women's sports, siding with MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. People who rape and murder women and children, you're defending them? Really? What the hell's wrong with you? So that's not playing well with the public, and it shouldn't. We need to hold them accountable. So Democrats feel like that's a winning strategy, and you know, it's funny watching what's going on in the Democratic Party right now, because you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is getting very popular right now with Democrat voters, the young people, because the old guard like Schumer isn't fighting against Trump hard enough, because the older Democrats understand it's okay to criticize Trump and stuff like that, but the crazy stuff that comes out of AOC's face is definitely socialist. and it's what has caused damage to the Democratic Party. So the DNC does not want AOC or Bernie Sanders to do what they're doing, but they are. So it's going to be an interesting thing to watch in the future, because she is about ready to primary Chuck Schumer. There's rumor that she wants to run for his Senate seat, and I think she would win it, because she's the only one that's fighting against the Trump administration. So while that makes the young Democrats, who are very enthused and energized right now, because they're absolutely scared to death of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. They have been fear-mongered beyond belief. The most susceptible are the ones under 30, and that is who is showing up to protest and rally against the Trump administration. So that's what's going on. Bye. So we've hit 3 miles. I'm gonna flip the camera around. Just had that guy on the motorcycle that pulled out of this property here, staring at me like, what am I doing filming here? What is it I got in my hand? Why is this man in a MAGA hat and a Trump shirt carrying a bottle with syringes in it? All good questions. Our clouds are thickening up a little bit. We are supposed to get some rain tonight. I have seen clouds like this move in and get rained on by the time my walk was done, so I hope that's not happening. It's kind of early in the year for a thunderstorm. So thankfully we're not seeing any more syringes, so that's good. That's very good. Somebody up there where that turn is probably lives down on that road that goes up that way. Best I can figure. Feel better now they picked those up, though. You know, that's bad psyche to even look at those. I don't want people to see those. It's an embarrassment. You know, is it wrong for me to feel that way? No, I don't think so. You know, I want Maine to be better than what it is. You know, and I do have a cousin that overdosed and died. Fentanyl poisoning. You know? And they were older too. They should have known better. Should have known better. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, so obviously they understand the mistake they made. But gone, you know? So I think about the teenage girl. I think she was 15 or 16. She was high on heroin and she was overdosing. And because people didn't want to get in trouble, they didn't bring her inside the hospital. They left her outside, figuring somebody would help her. Well, nobody did. She died. So I think about people like that. I think about the other young girl they found dead on her porch. Teenager. Fentanyl. You know, there's been hundreds, thousands nationwide More people are killed by fentanyl than firearms, and the Democrats, when they had the House and they had the White House and they had the Senate, weren't bothered by it. Did nothing. They passed nothing. They didn't even pass a feel-good bill that accomplishes nothing. They had fentanyl in the title to make it look like they were doing something. Zero. These people did nothing. Who did something? The Republicans did. Who voted against it in the Senate? The Democrats did. Now the Republicans have the Senate, the White House, and Congress, and now the Democrats are filibustering everything that's important. Transgender women and women's sports. They filibustered that and killed the bill. Now there's going to be one coming up at some point, making it illegal to transition minors, and they're going to filibuster that as well, because donors are going to say, we want it, and if you do that, we're not going to give your party money. Now AOC has been out screaming. She raised $9 million herself doing what she's doing. That's almost unheard of for a candidate. President Trump gets 10, 20 million and it makes headlines. AOC just raised $9 million as a congresswoman after a single event, which was packed, and they didn't bus people in, and she's getting really popular in the Democratic Party, and she's going to steal the Democratic Party, and I hope she does, because she's a friggin' loon, and they're going to be unashamedly even worse than they are now with the social justice stuff and pronouns and all that stupid crap. So I hope she wins. I hope she unseats Chuck Schumer. I hope she becomes a senator. And I hope she becomes even more powerful than Pelosi in the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party will never be in power again with that stupidity. And you have a lot of Democrats right now trying to find a way to rein her in without getting the voters angry, and their hands are tied because the policies they have supported stupidly for the last 15 to 20 years since Obama have caused this. Obama is really what caused all of these problems. He was a community activist, community organizer. He ran for the Chicago political office, was elected, and then he ran for Congress, was elected, then he ran for Senate, was elected, then he ran for president and was elected twice. And I remember saying in 2008, people are going to regret this, voting for Obama. These progressive socialist ideology garbage is going to come back, and it's going to ruin our country. And look where we are today. Look where we are. Teachers being fired because they take down rainbow flags in the classrooms. This is exactly what everybody was afraid of, and people are tired of it. People are sick to death of it. Got a doggy out here. Hi. A little doggy threatened me, but he's not going to eat me. He had something on him that started beeping. It was a proximity warning, so the dog doesn't go out in the road. That's the woman with the alpacas, which she has out there. Looks like she's doing some yard work. And the alpacas are out there. So the dog did not eat me. That always makes me nervous when you see a dog that's not tethered. She has an electronic collar on it that started beeping, and then the dog stopped barking, so I don't know what that is all about. Well, that's good. Not seeing any more syringes. One thing a police officer told me a long time ago, if you see drug use, police raiding drug places, or drug use paraphernalia, crime has gone up in your neighborhood. So I think whoever's using these needles actually lives up that other road and not down this way, because I would be seeing that stuff over here too, and I'm not. So, and as we see, we have a beautiful day today, even though it's a bit overcast. What would we call that? Mostly cloudy? That's what it looks like. Since it's mostly cloudy, it'd stand to reason, wouldn't it? Day before yesterday, we saw some turkeys over here. Ooh, see that woodpecker? We had a woodpecker swoop down in front of us. I hope you caught a shot of that. Had a beautiful red head with a white line along the side and a long black beak. I don't know what type of woodpecker it was. Got all kinds of squirrels over there. Oh, somebody's throwing feed out there for them. That's what that is. A whole crap ton of squirrels just scurried off. That's why those turkeys were there the day before yesterday. Phew! Wah, 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 wah. Right now that feels chilly, that breeze. It's definitely cooling off. The front was going by today. Well, that's good. Not seeing any more syringes. That makes me happy. Too bad we saw some already, but... And I had just walked this route not even a week ago, and there wasn't any syringes, so those are all new. So I would imagine in 2 or 3 days I'll be walking by and I'll see some more. bring a container with me, I don't need to uncap them and bend the needles because I'll just put them in the bottle. So that would be much better to have a bottle with me. Actually, it'd be much better if I was wearing a hoodie with a pocket on the front, which I'm not. Comes a car. Head off to the side here so I don't get killed. Down here. Got a brook over here. So I've never come down here and looked at this brook. Go up through here. Walk down over this way. Just wanted to see what was here. I've never come down here, if you can believe that. All the times I've come through here. Well, we'll continue on with our walk. Definitely feeling cool right now. Wish I had my hoodie. It's cooler than when I started my walk. Something's going on with the weather, folks. Adjust my hat. All right, let's finish up this walk. Still got this work going on over here. We just hit 4 miles, according to the app lady in my ear. The rice and vegetables I ate before my walk have been absorbed. I know that because my stomach is starting to growl a little bit. Oh, that wind is chilly, let me tell you. I'm also soaked with sweat, so that's not helping. It's helping to dry the sweat, but it's cooling me off too much. The other thing I'm going to talk about in the last part of this walk is RFK Jr. was giving a nice press conference earlier today. You can look that up on YouTube if you want. He was talking about autism. They're launching the full resources of the federal government to unlock why there is this tremendous epidemic surge of autism, which it is an epidemic at this point. May even call it a pandemic. And you have to ask yourself an honest question. What could be the causes of autism? It has grown exponentially in all of the Western world. It's not regional, it's everywhere. Everybody knows somebody that has autism, or a family that is dealing with autism. Put the camera around. Got a very high wind kicking up. My hat doesn't blow off, but watch out of the corner of my eye for traffic. But you have to ask yourself an honest question. All right, I'm going to be 57 in July. People in our age group, how many people do you know our age that has autism? Really hits you when you ask that question, doesn't it? None. Nobody. I don't know anybody that has autism. I've never seen anybody with autism until a friend of mine's son, about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, has autism. It just exploded. So, it's an honest question to ask. How many people under a certain age have autism? When did it increase? And there's even been some people that have traces of it and it's mild and they had no idea. They just thought everybody was that way. So and then you have a lot of people who use it for sympathy, who tell people they show signs of autism and they don't. And those are the same kind of people that are usually Democrats that exaggerate things to get attention. They like to get attention. Something lacking in their lives, apparently. But generally speaking, be honest about it. How many people over a certain age, we'll just leave it there, maybe 40. How many people over 40 have autism? I can't think of one. Not a single one I've ever met in my lifetime, ever. And you're probably saying the same thing. So what triggered it? One, it can only be an act of God or Satan, which wouldn't be God, it'd be Satan. Or it's some kind of environmental exposure of some kind. Lots of studies have been done that discount that it was vaccines, but we've all seen videos where babies are happy, they get vaccinated, and then literally later the same day or the next day they have issues. But there's never been any definitive proof that it was the flippity gibbet. The flippity gibbet is the one for the pandemic, but vaccines, I support vaccines, real vaccines. Measles vaccines, mumps, rubella, those are all ones made from strains from the disease they're immunizing you for. It's not artificially generated in a lab. So I do not support those. I still have some of that technology still needs to be proven to me, but I support vaccines. I'm vaccinated, so not for the flippity gibbet in 2020, 21, 22. I'm not for that. I didn't get the flippity gibbet, and I also don't get the flu one either. But that's by choice. You know, we'll see when I get older. I think that most people susceptible to flu are the very young and the very old. So, anyway, there's not too much more to talk about. I don't think I said anything that YouTube's going to lock my channel up over. I hope not, but you never know. If so, I'll have to edit. They did install a feature on YouTube that allows that, by the way, where it tells you what the infraction is and it gives you an option to edit it, and then it edits your video for you. You don't have to re-upload it. So anyway, with that, RFK says we're going to find out what causes autism. We're going to find out whether it's something we're eating in food, pollution in the environment, whatever it may be. They are going to find out, and they will, and they'll be transparent about it. But like I said, this is universal all through Canada, United States. Mexico has problems, Europe. So this is not there isn't like pockets of it happening. It's pretty widespread everywhere. So there has to be a reason. Has to be. Has to be. And they'll find out and they'll let us know. So presumably they're going to know by September, because they've already scheduled a big press briefing on that very topic in September. They think they'll know by then. So with that, thank you for walking with me. Click like and subscribe, share the content, be happy, pray to the Lord, pray for President Trump and the country. God bless you and your family and America. We will see you on the next walk.